they only have one wish, and that is peace and prosperity for their people. That's not the case with Russia. There's only one part who have started this war. There's only one aggressive part, and that is Russia. And I don't think you can have a peaceful solution when the one country that has been attacked wants peace, and the aggressive part wants the war to continue. And therefore, we have to be able to give the right answer, and it has to be powerful, unfortunately, because I would prefer peaceful time instead of wartime in Europe. My suggestion is, let us end the discussion about red lines.
Okay.
And let us not delay what the Ukrainian needs, not only to protect themselves, but also to push Russia back.
This is my video update on this Monday evening, September the 23rd. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off, unfortunately, with the escalation in the Middle East, in Lebanon, specifically southern Lebanon, where the reports are that Israel is striking southern Lebanon. There appear to be evacuations. People are leaving southern Lebanon. At least that's what the video and the images are showing. And countries from around the world, they are urging their citizens, if they are in Lebanon at this time, to get out, because it looks like a big war is on its way. So that is the reports from the Middle East, the quick update from the Middle East. With each passing day, it looks like a war between Israel, Hezbollah, possibly Iran, possibly pulling in the United States and many more countries in the region. It looks like this war is fast approaching. So, from the Middle East, let's talk about Elensky in America. He is in the United States, and he is on a war tour. That is what Zelensky is doing in the United States. He is pushing for escalation and for war. He is bringing his victory plan to the Biden White House. He's also going to show his victory plan to Harris and to Trump. Allegedly, he's going to share his victory plan with the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign. Actually, he's going to meet with Harris and Trump personally. Those are the reports that we're getting. But he's on a war tour. He is pushing for escalation. I imagine that he is being, Zelensky, at least it looks like to me that he is being helped along by the military-industrial complex, because if Zelensky is pushing for war, well, the MIC has no problem with that, do they? If the war continues, Zelensky continues to stay in power, and the MIC continues to rake in big profits. And I am lost in Malaysia. I am lost in Kuala Lumpur. Where am I? Where am I? Let's see. Let's see where I am as the rain is coming down. Let's, If I can go down that way, it looks interesting over there. Let's see if I can find a way to cross over. So the first place that Zelensky visits when he's in the U.S., one of the first places that he visits when he's in the U.S. on his war tour, trying to get America involved in the war, to get America to fight Russia, he visits an artillery shell factory in Scranton, PA. He was accompanied by Governor Shapiro, and he visited this artillery shell factory in Scranton, where the office the sitcom The Office took place. Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, Scranton, the Scranton Paper Company, Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. That's what she said. But no, he was not visiting Dunder Mifflin. He was visiting artillery shells, weapons of war. And Zelensky, as he was meeting some of the people that worked in this factory, Elensky said, let me get his quote. He said, "It is in places like this where you can truly feel that the democratic world can prevail, thanks to people like these in Ukraine and America and in all partner countries who work tirelessly to ensure that life is protected." He's at a weapons factory, and he says that this is the place where life is protected. He's at a weapons factory, and that's what he says. And he can feel democracy. He can feel democracy at this weapons factory. Boy, the MIC is just loving Elensky, huh? They are loving the man in the green t-shirt, and they're loving his war tour of the United States. So Elensky gave an interview to the New Yorker, and he's visiting the United States. He's a guest of the USA, and Zelensky gives an interview to the New Yorker as he's touring the U.S. And let's go this way. What does Zelensky do? What does he say to the New Yorker? He decides to insult a U.S. senator and the Republican vice president nominee, J.D. Vance. Zelensky decided to insult J.D. Vance. He actually took a jab at Trump as well. He said that Trump's plan to end the war is nonsense, that it's not going to work. Trump doesn't really know how to stop the war, even if he might think he knows how. So he insults the Republican presidential nominee and the former president of the United States. He's visiting the U.S. He decides to insult Trump, and then he really takes a jab at J.D. Vance. He said that J.D. Vance is too radical, because J.D. Vance also would like to end the conflict in Ukraine, and J.D. Vance being very realistic. Man, where am I going? Where am I going? Jeez. So Vance being realistic and understanding that Ukraine has lost this war. Everyone understands that Ukraine has lost this war. J.D. Vance is basically saying, look, you're going to have to concede some things, Ukraine, as you've lost this conflict, most likely territory. Maybe create a demilitarized zone. That's what J.D. Vance floated out there. Not getting into NATO. You've lost this conflict, so as the loser, you're going to have to concede some things in order to stop the killing, in order to stop the death and the suffering and the war. You're going to have to concede. You're going to have to capitulate to a certain extent. But let's stop it now before things get worse for Ukraine and before more people die. That's basically what J.D. Vance floated out there a couple of weeks ago, and Zelensky said that this is a no-go. This is not going to happen. J.D. Vance is too radical, and he's asking Ukraine to capitulate a conflict that everyone knows, to capitulate in this conflict that everyone knows they have lost. So he really took a jab at J.D. Vance, insults Trump, visits an artillery shell factory, and then he got an award. Yeah, he got an award. He got the Golden Plate Award. The Golden Plate Award, which is an award that's been given for the past 60 years to people for their contributions to humanity. This award is for people's contribution to humanity. And this award was given to Zelensky. The Golden Plate Award for Zelensky's contribution to humanity. Podolyak, this golden plate maybe I can trade this for home in Miami. What do you think, Podolyak? It's gold, golden plate. Anyway, that's Zelensky. He got an award. Oh boy, we're gonna have a couple of days of all of this news. Zelensky touring around the United States, getting awards, talking up the conflict, escalation with Russia. Tomorrow he's speaking at the UN Security Council. Yeah, Tuesday. Tuesday he's going to speak in front of the Security Council, talking about, I almost fell off that curve, talking about the need for escalation. This is going to be the news cycle for the next 2-3 days, everybody. Elensky does America. So that's it, I think, actually. I think I've covered everything there. Zelensky's first full day in the U.S. Man, I want to get down there. That's where I want to go. I can't do it. So the UK and Denmark, they're foaming at the mouth for conflict with Russia. Lammy, the foreign minister, he's saying that NATO and Europe, they need to man up. That's what he said. They need to find some guts and some nerves to cross Putin's red lines and not worry about it. Don't worry about Putin's red lines. Let's cross them, and let's get the conflict started. That's what Lammy basically said. Denmark, the Prime Minister of Denmark, Frederiksen, she gave an interview and she said, I don't want war in Europe, so we need to abolish the red lines for Ukraine. I don't want war in Europe, so we need to escalate with Russia, because she's of the belief that Putin's red lines are BS. That is what the Prime Minister of Denmark believes. I don't want war in Europe, so we need to escalate with Russia. Okay. They're foaming at the mouth for war. The UK, Denmark. Of course, the Baltics. They're always foaming at the mouth for war with Russia. Boy. You know who's not foaming at the mouth for war? All of a sudden, it seems. Macron. Yeah. A few months ago, Macron was talking about sending French troops to Crimea, right? In order to get the United States into the conflict in Ukraine. That was his trick, his trap, to get the U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine, to send French troops into Crimea. He's backed off from that idea. That was a good 6 months ago, I believe. Now Macron, the flip-flopper of France, he is saying that what's needed now is a new world order. A new world order is what Macron is saying. And he says this world order has to look beyond NATO and the EU, and it has to also incorporate Russia. He didn't get into any specifics, but that's what Macron is now talking about. It should not be limited by the EU and NATO if the continent is to be peaceful, according to Macron. I made it. I had it right the first time. I was walking down that way, but I thought, this is not going to take me to where I need to go. And lo and behold, it took me to where I wanted to go. Wow, this city's cool. Very nice. All right, let's get walking. It is hot, humid, rainy here in Malaysia. So yeah, Macron is talking a new setup in Europe to to find peace. We're going to have to figure out how to get past NATO and the EU and somehow talk to Russia. Of course, tomorrow, Macron's going to get the call from his globalist bosses, and he's going to flip-flop and say what an evil dictator Putin is and how NATO has to absolutely go to war with Russia and launch scalp missiles into pre-2014 Russian territory, because that is the flip-flopper Macron. So expect Macron to change his tune in 24 hours. So from France, we can now talk about Germany and the elections that took place in the state of Brandenburg. And, the pirate Schultz, he squeaked it out. He won. His party won, the SPD, but just barely. They just barely beat out the AfD. The numbers that I have is that the SPD got 32% and the AfD got 31%. And in third place was the new traditional left party, even though the mainstream media calls them radical left or far right. They actually call them far right. I believe this is Sarah Wagenak's party, the BSW. They actually ended up in third place with 14%. The CDU is at 12%, and get this, Annalena 360 and Robert Habeck, the Greens, they got nothing, man. They got a big donut, 0. They're not going to be represented in Brandenburg. They got clobbered, Annalena 360 and the Greens. Deservedly so. But, Schultz is going to look at this as a win, but it really isn't. This is his stronghold, man. This is where the SPD, from what I understand, this is where the SPD rules supreme. And all of a sudden, the AfD is within 1 or 2 points of Olaf Scholz. And from what I gather, from what I read, a lot of analysis is saying that actually the reason that the SPD squeaked it out is because they told Olaf Scholz, don't come around Brandenburg, man. Don't show up here. Olaf, don't show your face here, because if you show up here, we're going to lose to the AfD. That's how toxic the pirate is. Pirate Schultz, the toxic pirate. So yeah, and then when you look at the numbers for under 24-year-olds, the AfD was at 32% and the SPD was at 18%, BSW was at 13%. So the youth vote is actually with the AfD. Very bad signs for the German political establishment, huh? You have the traditional left and you have the populist AfD really rising throughout Germany. So those were the elections in Brandenburg, and let's finish this video off with a clown world. And today's clown world, this must be a shopping mall. Today's clown world is courtesy of Politico. They put out an article with the title, "From Dire to Iconic, 6 times European leaders tried to make the power hoodie work. Not all world leaders can pull off a hoodie." All right, so they, Politico, they talk about the hoodie style of world leaders, right? So the world leaders that they're judging in this Politico article are Kadyrov's 1, Donald Tusk is 2, Macron is 3, Rishi Sunak is 4, and the man in the green t-shirts, but for this article, the green hoodie, Elensky is 5. I don't know who the 6 was. They say 6 leaders. I don't know where they found 6. I remember 5. Maybe there's another guy in there anyway. I don't know. But take a guess who was the worst, who had the worst hoodie style, and take a guess who had the best hoodie style. Take a guess. Let me know in the comments down below who you think had, according to Politico, has the worst hoodie fashion and who has the best, who's the most stylish hoodie world leader, hoodie wearing world leader. If you guessed that the worst hoodie style belongs to Kadyrov, of course, they're gonna slam Kadyrov. Yep, you are correct. Kadyrov, they say, has the worst hoodie fashion. Okay, whatever, but that's what Politico is saying. Kadyrov is the worst. The second worst, according to Politico, is Rishi Sunak. He has the second worst hoodie style. And then acceptable hoodie style is Donald Tusk. Snazzy hoodie style is Macron. Macron has snazzy hoodie style. And of course, the best hoodie style, according to Politico, iconic, they say, is Elensky. Oh boy, Zelensky is easily the leader most associated with casual wear. In fact, when Macron wore a hoodie, the Times said he was emulating the Zelensky look. Oh boy. We make fun of Zelensky's hoodie. Politico and the collective West, they think it's iconic. And Macron, he's snazzy. He's snazzy with that hoodie. Ah, man, that's the clown world, everybody. I'm gonna end the video there. I'm pretty tired. Let's call it a day. Let's call it a night. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch. Check out the train. Like this t-shirt that I'm wearing today. You will find a link in the description box down below. From a rainy Kuala Lumpur, but a beautiful, beautiful city in Malaysia. Very modern. Very pretty at night. All right, everybody. Take care.